Broadcasting from the McLaurin Carpet Studios on Central Avenue in downtown Laurel, Mississippi. This is Good Morning Pine Belt with Ben Winpigler on SuperTalk Laurel 99.3.
All right, Good Morning Pine Belt. We're back here on a Tuesday morning. Appreciate you tuning in wherever you may be listening. We're coming to you live, as we always do, from the McLaurin Carpet Studios here in beautiful, historic downtown Laurel. And while it is a hot morning already, it is a beautiful morning indeed here in South Mississippi, and in particular here in downtown Laurel. We've got a great show ahead of you today. Lots and lots to talk about. Before I bring you in, I want to mention that this segment of Good Morning Pine Belt is brought to you by our friends over at Bank First. For all of your banking needs, you can go check out Bank First today. They'll get you taken care of. As I said, every time you walk in, you're not just a number, you're a person. They know who you are, and they'll get you taken care of right away. Lots of locations across the Pine Belt here. Virtual teller machines coming soon. You can do some things after hours that you would normally do with and when people say virtual teller, they get scared. They think it's some kind of robot. It's not. It's somebody just is probably working from home that is from South Mississippi. So you don't have to worry about that either. So go check out Bank First today, bankfirstfs.com. All right, joining us now from our good friends down the street at South Central Regional Medical Center. I always love talking with new doctors, and we have one in here today. And I'm going to get this name right on the first time. We have Dr. Filip Jovanovic. There it is. I got it right. And Dr. Jovanovic, we appreciate you coming in this morning.
Good morning, Ben. Thanks you for having me.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we're going to get all into kind of what y'all are doing over there and what your new practice is. But first of all, you're with endocrinology, and we're going to get all into that here in just a minute. But I got to know, you are originally from Serbia. First of all, when you came to South Mississippi from living in Serbia, which I'm no expert, but I'm pretty sure it's cold, when you got here, was it just like a slap in the face with the heat?
Yeah, so there is a big misconception when it comes to Serbia. A lot of people confuse it with Siberia, which is a lot north from where I live.
Yeah.
So Serbia is more of a Mediterranean climate.
Oh, okay.
And similar to like East Coast of the U.S. But there was a huge difference when it comes to not just the heat, but also the humidity when I came here. Yeah, it was something.
It's a killer, and it's not getting any better, I'll tell you. We get about a week, maybe a week and a half worth of non-humid days. But I got to know, how did you get all the way from Serbia, Eastern Europe, to South Mississippi?
So, I finished my medical school in Serbia back in 2016, and I applied for residency, and I got a residency position in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. So I was there in 2021 and finished my training in 2024. And then afterwards, I went to University of Minnesota between 2024 and 2026. I graduated in June of this year, and I'm back in South Mississippi and excited to be here.
There you go. So since you've been in South Mississippi, I know obviously it's your home, but do you love South Mississippi? Have you really grown to love the culture around here?
I really have. South Mississippi is particularly dear in my heart because my son was born here back in my residency training. Yeah. And I, like you said, have grown really fond of the culture here, the people, the community, the closeness of everybody. And that's why I decided that it was a fit call to actually come back here after my training and help people here in Mississippi.
Absolutely. All right, so let's talk about what you're doing. Endocrinology, that's a big word, a big fancy term for what is endocrinology?
Endocrinology is a really nice branch of medicine that deals with hormones.
Okay.
So hormones are natural communication molecules in the body that not just communicate with other glands, but also with different body organs. Mm-hmm. So think of endocrinology as a very broad spectrum of glands that are so interconnected.
Okay, gotcha. So I always like to ask this, especially with something very particular like endocrinology. How did you get into that specifically?
So yeah, that's a good question. So I started my training in South Mississippi, and unfortunately, it is an area where there's a lot of huge prevalence of patients with diabetes, and so this is growing not only in the U.S. but also throughout the world. The prevalence and incidence, the new cases are rising every day, and it is a big problem that not only affects the patients but also their families, and it's a problem that truly requires a specialized training in order to deal with this appropriately. And so diabetes was just one of the reasons I decided to go with endocrinology.
Gotcha. So endocrinology, obviously the hormones, that ties into a lot of things, but in particular, since you mentioned it, and like you said, unfortunately, it is more of a prevalent problem here, but how does the hormonal issues and things tie into diabetes?
So there's, like I said, it's all about the glands. So there's different glands in the body. And so when it comes to talking about diabetes in particular, one of the glands called pancreas produces these hormones that are called insulin and glucagon and some other hormones. But for the sake of when we talk about just the diabetes, insulin is the problem here. Whether there is a problem when it comes to insufficient production of insulin versus insulin resistance.
Okay.
So there's different classifications of diabetes. It's not just type 1 and type 2 like people are familiar with. There's plenty of more types out there that really require meticulous evaluation and discussion with the patients to figure out where exactly do they fit.
Gotcha. So obviously, and one thing I want to mention is that now that you're and we're going to get into where the clinic's going to be and everything, but you're starting soon. But what's special in particular about this South Central, you now working with South Central, is this going to be the first time that this service has ever been offered here in Jones County?
Yeah, this is really exciting, not just for myself, but also for the community. I am very grateful to be here, and this is, like you said, a unique opportunity for people not just living in Laurel, but also around areas to actually come and see a specialist that not only deals with diabetes, but other endocrinology problems like thyroid disease, adrenal glands, pituitary problems, bone health, reproductive health. There's just a list of things that an endocrinologist can help with.
Okay, and well, that kind of led into my next question. Obviously, we mentioned diabetes, and you mentioned several things, but if somebody's listening and they're like, hey, I think I may be having some hormonal issues, and we'll talk about this in a minute, when they walk into your clinic, what's that going to kind of look like? An evaluation? What does that look like as to kind of, I guess, quote, diagnose what maybe the issue may be?
Yeah, so when it comes to endocrinology in particular, the symptoms that the signs and symptoms that the patients will be complaining are often non-specific. So they may come with weight gain, weight loss, feeling hot, feeling cold, feeling fatigued. So there is just not, I would say, a very specific symptom that would bring them to see me. Oftentimes they go see their primary care physician, which is going to be the one that is going to order appropriate tests and then triage and see if they're a good referral to see me.
Okay. Well, that kind of leads me into my next question. And again, we'll get into this in a minute. But when you do start seeing patients and everything, I know you mentioned the primary care physician, and clearly I know that's important. That's kind of where a lot of it starts. But if somebody's like, hey, I kind of just want to go directly to you, can they do that? Do they have to have a referral? What does that look like?
As we start building practice, I will be taking walk-ins. Okay. So these people can obviously make an appointment and see me. We can always have a really detailed conversation, see if there are problems, if signs and symptoms that they're having, and the questions that they have are truly something that an endocrinologist can answer, or if they were appropriate referral for some other specialist.
Gotcha. So what I'm picking up is, as you start, kind of be more towards, hey, we're leaning towards referral from the primary care physicians, that kind of thing. That way you can just kind of start the funnel. All right. So that leads me to my kind of final question here. When are you going to start seeing patients?
So I am starting on September 15.
Okay.
And our clinic is going to be 1430 Jefferson Street. So it is essentially located in between South Central Diagnostics and Neurology Clinic.
Okay. So that's right there, kind of in the family where all the other South Central clinics are, kind of roughly in that area. And I'm sure that if you, once it's kind of established, if you type it in your GPS, you'll find it right there.
That's right.
It won't be too hard to find. But I do know right now, though, that while you're not directly seeing patients, you're getting people on a wait list.
That's right. We do have a list that is filling up pretty quickly, and so I encourage the patients and all the listeners today to have a conversation with a primary care physician, just to talk to them about what symptoms they're feeling. Mention that in case their primary care physician does not know there's an endocrinologist in town, whether they would be an appropriate referral to see me, so they can have all the testing required before they see me, and they can definitely expedite the process and make it more efficient, not just for myself, but also for them.
Yeah, absolutely. The quicker more tests you have ready, the more quickly you can get in to see them. So that number to call, by the way, to be on that wait list, if you're interested in talking with Dr. Jovanovic and getting on his list, is 601-399-5426. If you visit SCRMC.com, click through some links, I'm sure you can find the number or find a way to get on that list as well. Well, Dr. Jovanovic, we appreciate you coming in. Excited to have you here in South Mississippi, in particular at South Central. I know it's a very special place to the area, and excited to have you start seeing patients, and I'm sure you'll be around for a long time when we'll have you back on.
Thanks for having me. My pleasure.
Absolutely. All right. When we come back, we're going to be talking with our good friends from the Salvation Army. So stick around. Good Morning Pine Belt. We'll be right back.
We're back to Good Morning Pine Belt. SuperTalk Laurel 99.3.
All right, Good Morning Pine Belt. We're back here on a Tuesday morning, live here from the McLaurin Carpet Studios. Our thanks to Dr. Jovanovic there with South Central Endocrinology. Great new service is coming here to Laurel and the Pine Belt. Go ahead and get on that wait list now if it's something that you think you may need. Before we bring in our next guest, I want to mention that this segment of Good Morning Pine Belt is brought to you by our friends over at Dixie Electric Power Association, a member-owned electric co-op that has the best broadband internet that you are going to find. But, this time of year, I know that we had some tips and everything from her. It is getting into peak hurricane season, so just be weather aware. I know that if you keep an eye on Dixie Electric, they'll keep you up to date as to when things are coming, but just make sure you've got all your stuff. Make sure you've got your cases of water. If you have a generator, make sure that it's working now. Don't wait until after the power is gone to try to get it working. Because if your power's out, that probably means the mechanic's power's out too after a hurricane, and you're not going to be able to get it fixed. So go get that done now, and know that if that does happen and power goes out, that the team at Dixie Electric and all the other co-ops and people around are working just as hard and just as fast as they can when the power goes out, because again, if your power's out, their power's out, and they want to get it taken care of too. So our thanks to Dixie Electric for partnering with us as they do all the time. All right, joining us now as a couple of ladies that one lady that I've known for a while, and another one that I've gotten to know. We have Miss Lisa Cochran. She is with Dwell, the Remnant, and lots of other things in town. And then somebody that's new to the show is Captain Karen Felton. She is with the Salvation Army. And ladies, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Captain Felton, I'm gonna start with you since you're new to the show. First of all, if you don't mind pulling that mic just a little bit closer to you, there you go. First of all, welcome. I know you've been here a little bit, but welcome to Laurel officially.
Thank you.
I know that y'all just had your kind of get to know us kind of thing, but how long now have you been in Laurel with the Salvation Army?
Well, with the Salvation Army, we started in October.
Okay.
Taking over the shelter, and then it was in April that the powers that be called us and asked us if we would consider taking over as the officers because the previous officers were being transferred. So we said, of course, we will.
Now, you've been with Salvation Army, though, for a long time.
Not as long as my husband.
Okay.
My husband has been an officer for 42 years.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah. I previously was an employee of the Salvation Army, and then I felt God calling and went to seminary. So I've actually only been an officer for about 8 years.
Okay. But you've been working with the Salvation Army.
Yes, long time, yeah.
A long time, and you've been in several big cities. And
yes.
Where all have you been so far?
I started out in Peoria, Illinois, went to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, where I was greeted with 6 feet of snow in October.
Oh, my.
Then I went to seminary in Chicago in Wrigleyville.
Okay.
Then my husband and I served on the west side of Chicago, Kansas City, Kansas, St. Louis, Missouri, and then back to Chicago.
There you go. So you've kind of been all over.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that you're not going to have to worry about here in South Mississippi is 6 feet of snow.
We are so glad about
You'll
that.
never you'll never get that. You may get an inch and a half every 10 years, but that's going to be.
No, we are so happy for that.
That's all you're going to be. So now that you've come to Laurel, and we're going to get all into kind of what's going on, but you've been in all these big cities and all these different things. Now that you've come to Laurel and you've been here now for almost 6 months, or really almost a year now, what have you seen since being at the Salvation Army in Laurel that maybe Laurel has a little bit more in common with these big cities than we think?
Yeah, that's a great question. When I first moved here, I actually moved here 2 years ago to renovate our retirement home because we were supposed to be retired. I had another not-for-profit agency ask me to do a community needs assessment. And I looked up what's called a point-in-time count where different agencies actually count how many homeless people are in every single town. Laurel at that time had about 33 known homeless people. Over the last 2 years, I would say that number has tripled. I've seen exponential growth in the homeless community.
Yeah.
Because when I first came, people said there's a homeless problem here. And I looked around and saw those numbers and I was like, 33 is doable.
Yeah.
We can fix this.
Yeah.
Since taking over the shelter, we've seen that number is growing rapidly.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're going to get all into maybe why that's happening here in just a minute. But I want to bring Miss Lisa in here in just a second. But, all the things that y'all do at the Salvation Army could not be done without the partnership of other people in the community. And I know that's why we brought Miss Lisa in today. I know if you're not familiar with Miss Lisa Cochran, as I said at the beginning, she has Dwell, she has the Remit, she does lots of things in the community. But in particular, I know she's working directly with y'all at the Salvation Army.
Yes.
And what exactly is she doing, and why are we maybe featuring her a little bit more today?
Yeah. So I will tell you that when I first moved here, I visited the Remnant, and I was so impressed by the person checking me out, just her attitude, her spirit. And so she told me about Dwell and why she was working at the store. And that touched me. And I said, who founded this? And she's like, her name's Miss Lisa. You got to meet her. We're having a warehouse sale. Come and meet her. The first time I laid eyes on Lisa, I could feel just her spirit and she's just a good human being, but she draws you in. Yeah. And I just kept meeting her in different places, and I was just so attracted to her spirit, the level that she pours out to other people, and just in a very genuine way. So I was drawn to her. As we were asked to take over the shelter, I knew that we had to overcome a reputation in town of we didn't always keep our promise. We didn't always do what we said we were going to do. And so never being from a small town, not growing up here, you can step in a mess without knowing it. And so Lisa really became my person that I would ask how to navigate certain things. The game changer for us came during the cold weather this past winter, and we were so overwhelmed and we needed supplies to keep us going. I just mentioned it to this woman, and she did a Facebook Live, and then my husband and I stood outside in tears because the amount of people that started showing up almost as soon as her Facebook Live. People were coming and just unloading so much stuff. Mm-hmm. And they would say, oh, we saw Miss Lisa's Facebook Live. Mm-hmm. And my husband is like, who is this woman? And I was like, she's amazing. And then here comes the remnant box truck filled with brand new linens, so much food supplies, all the things we needed. And she solidified her place in my heart. And I don't know what I would do without her. Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people in the area that would say the same. Well, Miss Lisa, I know we've had you on several times before to talk about different things, but in particular, the Salvation Army, I think, does a lot more than people realize, don't they?
Oh, yes, incredible amount, from the meals that are provided daily to the shelter that they provide. But the difference that we're seeing now is the heart of the directors. Mm-hmm. That's a big point of difference that we're seeing. Not turning people away, treating people with dignity and respect. That is a huge portion. And whenever I met Karen, and I knew they had a big obstacle to overcome with a reputation of a shelter that had not been. Had broken promises is the nicest way that she says it. Yeah. And I felt like this is something we've got to get behind. We have a growing homeless community, but they still are our neighbors, and we've got to love them, and we've got to show them the respect. Try to find the housing and some solutions to what's going on in their lives. And to me, it was a no-brainer to get out there and use our voice and our influence from the remnant, from my years of being a business owner, a hairdresser. I mean, when you've been a hairdresser for 43 years, you have a little bit of credibility.
You know a few people.
Yeah. And so the women, get behind us, and I mean, really, they stocked that pantry quickly.
Yeah.
And so we're going to do it again. So Karen's going to tell you a little bit about that, and we're getting ready to do something huge there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've got just a few seconds left in this segment, but when we come back, we're going to continue our conversation with Miss Lisa Cochran and Captain Karen Felton there, talking all about what the Salvation Army is doing. We're going to talk about the drive that they have coming up, and maybe some more issues that the Salvation Army is facing here in downtown Laurel, and maybe why some of those issues may exist. So stick around. Good morning, Pine Belt. We'll be right back here on SuperTalk Laurel 99.3.
This is Good Morning Pine Belt on SuperTalk Laurel 99.3.
All right, Good Morning Pine Belt. We're back here on a Tuesday morning, continuing our conversation with Captain Karen Felton from the Salvation Army and Miss Lisa Cochran. But before I do that, I want to remind you that this segment of Good Morning Pine Belt is brought to you by our friends over at Community Bank. Local bankers, local decisions, and plenty of convenient locations. I know they do a lot. It's just in their name. They do a lot for our community because they are just that. They are a community established bank. So go check them out today, communitybank.net, and see what all that they can do for you. All right, as I said, we're continuing our conversation with Miss Captain Karen Felton and Miss Lisa Cochran there, talking all about the Salvation Army. And Captain Karen, as we left the conversation earlier, we were talking about how you got connected with Miss Lisa and all that she's doing for the Salvation Army and has done, but she's getting ready to do quite a bit more in a pretty big drive. So tell us all about it.
Yeah, so in the South, in the Salvation Army, they have something that we didn't have in Central, which is Ambassador for Good. So every August, the Salvation Army location can choose somebody to be their Ambassador for Good. And that person and the officers choose a project, and the Ambassador for Good heads it up. And as soon as they said, if you can think of somebody that, like, the community loves and would be a good, I said, there's only one person
it's pretty
that
quick,
would be the ambassador. She is always an ambassador for good. Yeah. So I said, it's got to be Lisa Cochran. So Lisa and I talked about it, and we decided what we wanted to do was to try to fill the pantry at the shelter.
Okay.
We feed all of our residents dinner and breakfast, and now we've been open almost a week and a half solid for the cooling station.
Yeah.
So we're running through food like crazy. Yeah. So her goal is to fill our pantry and even maybe our freezer if people feel so moved. But I made a wish list of things that we need that we go through a lot of. And her goal is to challenge the community to collect food items. And on the Ambassador for Good Day, which she'll tell you about, she'll even go out and pick it up.
There you go.
Yes.
Well, Miss Lisa, come back to you. Obviously, you're working closely with them to do this drive, but kind of tell us what y'all are looking for. I know there's a specific Ambassador for Good Day. Is it just that day people can do it? When can people do it? How do people do it?
Well, for me, the best way to do this is we're launching it today, and I'm going to give you a list of items. And can we post this on your Facebook as well? So we'll have this posted here. We'll post it on the Remnant. It's going to be on Salvation Army, and I'll have it on my personal page that we can share. But we need to stock these items, and I'm going to just give you a quick list of just some basic things, just like cereal, coffee, like creamer, sugar, vegetables, but the day for pickup is going to be the 25th, but you can bring it to the Remnant if you've got your church involved, which I'd love to see your churches get your Sunday school class, your small groups involved. Maybe you girls that are playing games, junior auxiliary, like some of the clubs here, Rotary, if y'all want to get behind us and help us, we can come pick it up or you can deliver it. But go ahead now and start making your purchases. You can even have them, you can Instacart, you can Walmart delivery, you can have Kroger delivery, anything like that can be brought to the Remnant. But we'll have our guys picking up the day of the 25th. So we're going to reserve that day to go around the community to pick up all the items. If it's freezer items, call us and we can make special pickups because we don't want anything to spoil or to ruin. Right. But those are going to be the best ways to go about it. And so I really want you to take this seriously, because if you're trying to feed between 40 and 50 people 3 meals a day, they're going to go through a substantial amount of food. And so just feeding them 2 meals a day, they're going through a lot. But they're at maximum capacity with even bringing cots out, especially, we're going on, 7 days of, under this heat dome, the temperature's over 100, so they've got the shelter open. So we really need to get behind them and take this seriously and get this shelter stocked. And if you go in their pantry, we need to get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to do a video from there, and we'll show you.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm getting the best way. You don't want to take any of this directly to the shelters, all coming to the Remnant, correct?
They can do it to the Remnant, or you want to?
I mean, if they absolutely want to, they can.
Yeah. You can take a tour while you're there.
We really want people to come see the shelter.
Yeah.
I think for a long time people have wondered, and we want it to be accessible for people. So if people want to buy things and they're like, I want to bring it directly there, let's do it.
Yeah.
And then I'll give you a tour.
There you go.
During our open house, we gave people tours, and I think they were surprised.
Yeah.
Because I think people picture a shelter, and seeing it is so much better.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. So there's a couple of ways that you can do that, and Miss Lisa's right. They feed a lot of people. 3 times a day is a lot of meals. I have 2 kids. I have to feed them 3 times a day, and that's a lot of food. And if you're doing that for grown adults, and there's multiple of them to the capacity, that is a lot of food. So we want to make sure that they have, and if you think, if it's a couple days in, maybe they have enough, they don't have, bring more.
No. Bring more.
Yes.
Bring more. Bring as much as you can. They'll find something to do with it. Am I right?
Yes.
And we want to make multiple trips. We want to fill that box truck up numerous times.
Yeah.
Yes.
So fill it.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Miss Captain Felton, I want to come back to you for a minute. I know kind of in the beginning we talked about the jump that you've seen in people staying there at the shelter since you've been there. I want to kind of talk about why that is, because I have seen it. I've been downtown now in this office for almost 4 years, and I have seen it too, and growing just, I mean, almost kind of sudden is how quickly it started. Why is that?
I think it's twofold. I think Laurel was just behind the national trend because it's a smaller town, so it took a while to catch up to what people are seeing everywhere else. But also, there are only 2 shelters functioning in Mississippi that are a longer term shelter like ours, and one is here and one is in Tupelo. So if somebody is in a mental health hospital, they're being discharged, they are supposed to have a housing plan. So if somebody says, I'm homeless, they are not supposed to discharge them back to the streets. So when they don't have a housing plan, they choose the shelter. The problem with that is they don't call us to see if we have beds or that we can handle the level of mental health that they're dealing with. So they put them in an Uber and they send them here.
In the middle of the night sometimes.
Sometimes, or it'll be like our shelter is closed during the day, which is something we're working on. Yeah. We want to be open 24/7. But they'll drop them off at like 1 p.m. when nobody's around. The shelter's locked. So these poor people get dumped in our parking lot. They don't know why the shelter's locked. Yeah. They don't know where to go, what to do. And I have come upon people sobbing in our parking lot saying, I don't know why they brought me here and your door is locked. We don't know what to do. We've also found out people get dropped off at the mall by the Ubers or the library. So it's really become a problem.
Yeah, and it really has. And from what we've talked about, too, because I've been in some of the meetings there that y'all have had over at the library, a lot of them do have mental health issues. And like you said, if they're just dropped off and they don't have a clue where they are, why they are, how they got here, this kind of thing, it makes their mental health problem much worse.
Yeah. So usually people with schizophrenia or things like schizophrenia, they typically stay in their hometown or where they're familiar. When you bring them out of that, it actually makes the symptoms worse. So like if they're paranoid schizophrenic, they can do okay in their hometown. But when you take them somewhere that's not familiar, it gets 1,000 times worse. Yeah. So we know, even if we're full, if we don't take them, then they become Laurel's problem. Yeah. And we fell in love with this community when we came to visit. We loved the downtown. I love the library. So for me, I'm very protective of that. I don't want these people just wandering around disrupting people. These are people's businesses that they've poured their blood, sweat, and tears. I don't want that for them. And I also don't want these people to have nowhere to sleep at night. So we take them regardless. Yeah.
But you'll find a place for them to sleep.
It's been really difficult because of the level of mental health. And when you have that many people living together in a community setting, they kind of play off of each other. And it's our staff should be sainted because they are like putting up with so much right now, and they keep showing up.
Yeah, and I don't mind saying it because I've said it multiple times here before. There's our particular one, and I can't remember one of them, but I can remember one in Meridian, Alliance Health in particular, that it's become a real problem. Yeah. And I've said it before, if somebody from that organization is listening and you're mad that we're calling you out in this public space, by all means, call Captain Felton.
Yes, because chances are if you called us ahead of time and said we have nowhere to put this person, we would let them come, but we want to have a plan. We want to know, we need people to work with us because Laurel does not have enough mental health facilities that we can transition them out to anywhere. So I have one lady that's been with us, and she was there long before we got there because there's nowhere. Yeah. And she cannot be on her own. No. So, that we are not set up to be a mental health hospital, but that's rapidly what we're becoming. Yeah. And it's hard because we set, parameters for our clients that we want them to find employment within 30 days. And then you know, I sit down with them, we budget, they start saving for housing, we look for housing. People with that level of mental health cannot hold down a job.
Yeah.
So it's hard when a client says, well, she doesn't work. Why are you making me work?
Yeah.
So it's really hard to have a structured program when there's so many different issues happening that everybody's held to a different standard.
Yeah. Well, we're just about out of time here, but that is just one of the many problems that they're facing there at the Salvation Army. And as she said, it's growing and growing and growing, so they need more food and they need this. So circle back around to Miss Lisa. Remind us of the date and what people need to give and how people can get that food items that they need to the Salvation Army.
Okay. So you can bring those items by the remnant. Think of like non-perishable items like canned vegetables, crackers, peanut butter, jelly, those things. But if you want to stock the freezer, just give us a personal phone call and we can come by and we can pick that up for you earlier than the 25th. But that's going to be the day that we're going to try to do most of our pickups and deliveries over to the Salvation Army. Mm-hmm. But again, if you start bringing them to the remnant now and we need to make a trip, we're happy to do that.
You'll make as many trips as you need.
We want to exceed.
Absolutely. They want to, if they can make a trip every single day.
Absolutely, we'll do it.
Well, also, it's Lisa's birthday week.
Yes,
so
it's
this
birthday
is
week.
like a birthday gift to her.
There you go. Give your birthday gift to Miss Lisa and to the Salvation
right.
Army. Help them out. Because I promise you it's a worthy cause. Ladies, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks
I know we
for
could talk for the
having
whole
us.
hour,
So
and we'll have you back on again real soon, I'm sure.
Right. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right. When we come back, we're going to be telling you about another event that's happening here in the downtown Laurel area. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Good morning, Pine Belt. SuperTalk Laurel 99.3.
All right, we are back here. Final segment here on a Tuesday morning. Our thanks to Miss Lisa Cochran and Captain Karen Felton there with the Salvation Army. I'm telling you right now, I have seen the issues that they are facing and why they are facing them, and we have to. If we want to continue to grow as a city, we have to help the Salvation Army because they're going to help us do that in combating some of the issues that we have. So, all on that, and I'm sure we'll have them on again later, and I'll tell you all about it. Hey, don't want to forget, though, it's almost 10 o'clock, so you know what that means. You can go see our team over there at Rocky, at K-Rocks. Rocky and the team, they're getting ready. By the time you get there, the fryers will be hot, and they'll be ready for you, and they'll cook your food right there on the spot, and you'll see it happen. And if you want to see the menu before you get there, decide what you want. If you even want to call them right at 10, so it'll be ready, krocksfoods.com. Don't worry. If you're scared of calling, if you're like a Gen Z or something, we'll have your ability to order online very soon, so be ready for that. All right, joining us now from just around the corner here in historic downtown Laurel, our good friends from LLT, Laurel Little Theatre. Today we have joining us Dr. Katrina Cox. And Dr. Cox, thanks so much for coming on this morning.
Thank you for having me today.
Absolutely. All right, well, Dr. Cox, I know we talked ahead of time. This is a shorter segment, so we'll get right to it. LLT is always one of the great gyms here in downtown Laurel and in the Pine Belt as a whole. And y'all are getting ready to kick off a new season at LLT with an exciting show that's actually starting this weekend.
It is. Once on this Island, it's starting our 67th season at Laurel Little Theatre. We have a great season of mystery and mayhem coming through. We have Clue coming after this one, 39 Steps, and then the kiddos will do Addams Family Jr. in the summer. And so we have a wonderful season, but we are starting with Stephen Flaherty's Once on This Island.
Okay.
Now, that composer is also the composer of another show that people love, which is Ragtime.
Oh, okay.
And so this is an incredible show, a different type of vibe than Ragtime, but it's a really, really touching story.
Yeah, so kind of give us a brief synopsis of what people can expect when they come in to see Once Upon an Island.
All right.
What's on this island? Sorry.
When they come in, they're going to experience being on the Caribbean island.
Yeah.
That's where this is based. it's a fun setting, but there are some deep topics within this fun setting. It deals with racial divide, cultural divide, colorism, just a lot of different things, but it hits you so subtly that you don't really know that it's happening until after the moment. And so you really leave inspired and thinking after this show. And that's what drew me to it from the first place.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know it's hard. It's kind of like when I ask coaches this. I know it's always hard to single out particular people and not list the entire crew, but kind of give us some people maybe that somebody's familiar with that is going to be some of the cast.
Wonderful. Okay, so T Moon is Lauren Hardy. She is born and raised here right at Laurel. She went to Laurel High School. She was in the arts there at Laurel. She has been in many, many Laurel Little Theatre productions. But what I'm excited to say is this is her first major role. She is the lead role, and she has risen to the occasion. I'm so proud of her. We have some students from William Carey that are in it. We have community people that we always see, like Tommy King. He's been in many, many shows. We have one of the Laurel Little Theater vets coming back, Reagan Arnold. He was in Something Rotten. And so this cast is super diverse, but they all bring something different to the table. So I'm really excited to, number one, see the diversity on the stage, but number two, to see what each one of those backgrounds bring to this kind of show.
Absolutely. So one thing I always ask too, and Miss Christie kind of started this with, I know the LLT does lots of different types of shows for different types of people and everything. I always like to ask if you could put a movie theater rating on it, what would you put it on? Because, you know, sometimes people want to bring their kids and they need to know maybe how old is appropriate.
I would say this is a PG show.
Okay.
This is a PG show. It could be PG-13, but we've kind of taken all the PG-13 out of it. And so this is a family-oriented show. Okay. Everyone can come and get something out of it because, just as I said, some of the heavier emotions are kind of masked within the songs.
Gotcha. Well, that makes sense. All right. Well, Dr. Cox, with the last little bit that we have here, the most important part is how people get to the show.
Please come on down to Laurel Little Theatre, also known as the Arabian Theater, or you can go and purchase your tickets. Please purchase your tickets. Don't wait too late at laurellittletheater.com, or you can also go to that same website and get a membership, which is much cheaper.
Yes, it is.
Than buying a single ticket for every show this season.
If you're going to come to every show, might as well become a member.
You might as well become a member. Yeah. Just come on down.
Absolutely. And there's lots of different options there, lots of ways to support the local theater. They come with season tickets, so like she said, you can come to every show. All right. Well, Dr. Cox, as we end, remind us of the date and the times of this show coming up.
Absolutely. Once on This Island, August 21st through 23rd, 7:30 Friday and Saturday night, and 2:30 for the Sunday matinee. The second weekend is August 28th through 30th, same time, 7:30 Friday and Saturday, and 2:30 on Sunday. Please come out and support.
There you go. Get your tickets ahead of time. Become a patron member. Go, even if you're going to make 3 of the 5 or something, get season tickets now and go check that out. So, Dr. Cox, we always appreciate you coming in, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, well, that does it for Good Morning Pine Belt today. If you missed any of the show, you can always go back and listen on our YouTube channel, SuperTalk Laurel. So we'll talk to you again tomorrow on same time, same place. But until then, and as always, keep your dial right here on SuperTalk Laurel 99.3.